right, hey, well, welcome to the Bill Ellis podcast. I'm James McOnie. With me, Mills Muliaina and Stephen Bates. Batesy, for the first time, you're joining us, and obviously you may recognise him from his rugby playing days, also with Sky Sport, and you're coaching the future of Auckland rugby right now as well, Batesy. It's all on you, on those
Weights
big
on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Luckily they're big.
There was no one around, so I got the job. So that's how it worked, mate. But yeah, no, it's good times, mate. Coaching young fellas.
I did see your team play down in Te Awamutu against Taranaki. And I don't know, did you have a loss that day? You picked up a...
No. We had a win, mate. About a 2-point win. How dare you? In the lovely Te Awamutu. No, we had about a 2-point win. It was a win anyway.
Yeah, good. And I did notice that the forwards are banging away against, the defence there. And I did like the look of your first five, second five, quite big units. How are they going, those two?
Yep.
Can we expect to see them in the future?
Yeah, they're really good. So Zahn Sullivan is the first five. And that's Balin's brother, obviously, younger brother, played for Kings last year. So, mate, he's got a big future ahead of him, good kid and stuff like that. So, I suppose there's been a few people that you say have got a big future, but it's up to him whether how much he wants it. And we've got Patrick Ellis as well, who was with the Warriors under 20s with the Warriors until this year, and he's come over as well. So, Christchurch boy, plenty of skills. So, both good young men, and if they want it, they've got the skills to do it. So it'll be interesting to see how they go in the next couple of years.
Patrick Ellis, is that like Mark Ellis, the league player? Am I going too far into the family tree there?
We've got a Susu as well.
Right.
I asked the other day, is that Jerry any relation? And I was told blunt no, but I haven't done any digging. So maybe I don't know. There's poor research from me. So.
Yeah, if you could come back with some whakapapa information next time, that'd be great. Thanks, Batesy. Mills. You were working at the Bledisloe test, and that's what we're going to start off with. 34-0, the result. Huge bounce back. How did the All Blacks do that, and what impressed you the most about...
Well, we're a lot happier this week, aren't we, us Kiwis?
Yeah,
so how did they do it? Well, a lot was sort of said after the Perth test about their physicality and bringing that they didn't bring that in the Perth venue. They certainly done that at Eden Park, but I just sort of thought they simplified things a bit more. I mean, last week I spoke about, I was hoping that combination of Mo'unga and Barrett would start to click, and that Mo'unga would start to stand up, and the pendulum in terms of how many carries he got sort of swung his way, and then hopefully that Barrett would sort of stand back and let him run the cut. And I think it actually happened. Some of the big boys stood up. I think Patrick Tuipulotu had a massive game. And you always sort of wanting him to sort of have a big game, Batesy. Like, I think it's almost like the case. He goes back to Auckland and he's a lot more free. He seems like he's not thinking too much. But the last few years of the All Blacks, he's come in and it's almost like he looked a bit afraid to do stuff just in case he made mistakes. Well, on the weekend, he just got out there and just smashed people. So they definitely brought the physicality, but I think tactically, they've brought something different, and that was evident in terms of their kicking.
You talk about Paddy as well. Like, when he plays for the Blues, what's he best with? He's best when he's got the ball and he's going forward and he's physical. You know what I mean? So he was able to do that on the weekend. The one thing that I'm not sure if it is a concern for me or whatever, but I would like Paddy to now be released to Mitre 10, because I think, like a guy we used to play with, the late Sione Lawaki, he gets better when he plays rugby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we've got fantastic locks in New Zealand, Barrett, Whitelock, Retalak, so he doesn't play all the time. So for me, I don't worry about the tiredness of him or anything like that. I'd like him to go play Mitre 10 Cup and keep playing, because the All Blacks don't play for 2-3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
2
at
weeks?
least 2 weeks, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. And then that's the only game before the World Cup. Yeah. So that's an interesting point. Did you have a man of the match? Who did you... we can all name our man of the match. Mills, who was your man of the match for the Bledisloe?
I thought Mo'unga, stood up. He was definitely between... I mean, I know...
You're going to name 3 men of the matches, aren't you?
Well, 3-2-1 monthly system.
Oh, yeah, we're
there's a 3-2-1.
Okay. Do you want to do a 3-2-1?
We're putting Mitre 10 Cup into this system.
Okay, fine. The Dally M Monkley system.
Bridge played well too.
Okay.
Bridge and... No, I'll stick with Mo'unga.
Okay, fine.
Since you're teasing me about it.
It's fine, no, it's all right. He really did make a statement, I think, that felt like he was in control.
He just looked more... He looked like the Richie Mo'unga that plays for the Crusaders. He ran the cutter, he put guys into space. All of a sudden, he started nipping around, and he was constantly in that first receiver role, which then freed up, Bowden. And man, that counter-attacking try that we scored from his sort of, nous to be able to get that nice arc and then that ball away the bridge was awesome. And it kind of just felt like those two knew their roles, and that's why I think, for me, Richie, was, I mean, whenever a team plays well like this, isn't it the first fives or the nines? Actually, Aaron Smith played really well too.
Yeah.
You look at those sort of guys because they're the guys that sort of steer the ship and things like that. And then you add on the physicality in it. But I just think, in terms of his game management, he was outstanding.
Batesy, for you, man of the match?
I like the other winger, Sivu Reece. I thought he was outstanding. But for me, the man of the match is ALB.
Yeah.
I just thought he was what he did. And one of the reasons why I say that is what he did in the first sort of 20 minutes for me, because Millsy, you've played one or two more test matches than me, I think, but it was a real test match, wasn't it? That first 20 minutes, the Aussies were coming. They were coming, and the All Blacks couldn't dent them, and they were unlucky. Corabetti in the corner there, and that to me, and your mate Bridge was there, Reece was there, and also Anton Leonard-Brown comes across and cover. But just to me, I thought he was class, and a guy, to me, going forward, whether he starts or not, he can't be left out of the 23. I think he played a really top-notch game, solid in everything he did, worked really hard, and then brought a little bit of X factor.
Nice, yeah, and that's actually good, a good moment or a good sort of phase in his career. Now that there was so much debate around midfielders, and for him to be that guy who you sort of feel that he's won the public over, he's obviously won the coaches over, which is the most important thing. And he can be relied on to do either position, 12 or 13. I liked Ardie Savea. I thought that he's just getting used to that. It's a dual role, isn't it? He's number 8 for part of the game, then he's number 6 for the rest of it, and then expected to do the turnovers as well. And there was something kind of assured about him. He felt like a senior pro, and he obviously feels like that when he plays for the Hurricanes, but now it looks like he, owns that position, and we can maybe calm down about having a big human at number 6 for a while, Batesy.
Yeah, I think so. And to talk about Ardie, I just liked his on the left edge, you know what I mean? Just his ability to say, you actually won't tackle me. And he was up against a lot bigger men, and just his work rate. And also I'll give a rap, I can't leave him out because I'm a massive fan of Sam Cane. Did lots of things well, but I'm going to focus on the skipper as well, who's taken a bit of heat, man. He's taken a bit of, in my view, unnecessary heat. 2 games in a row. They got pumped in the first one. He was close to man of the match, and last week too. Just the work he does, and when I say the work he does, he didn't score 3 tries, he didn't make 10 line breaks, but just the work he does, you know what I mean? Like you just cannot replace it, and you've got to remember too, when we look forward to what's going on next year, if we get to the World Cup final, we ain't going to win it 40-10. No. It's gonna look at the games that are going up north. They're tight. You know what I mean? So in that moment, Kieran Reid sticks up, he gets over the ball, makes his tackle. So I'll give a rap to all 3 loose forwards. Yeah,
I'm all about Kieran Reid. I think that he would in the Monkley system he would have been right up there as well in the Mills Muliaina Monkley system. Now look, Hansen. Let's talk about a selection a little bit, because Hansen says the toughest selections are tight head prop, midfield backs, and whether to take a spare lock or blindside flanker. So let's start with tight head, because Nepo Laulalo, apart from that amazing falcon who got smashed in the face, that was partly Ardie's fault, because he sort of went to catch it and then went, oh no.
Sucker!
And he got smashed. But tight head prop, how do you see that sort of shaking down? We'll start with you, Batesy.
You get a little bit nervous, he's going to throw that to you there,
No, I was nervous, a little bit nervous. I was going, 3, what's 1? Oh, 3, yeah.
Is it a 1 or a 3?
You're right.
This is how I see it. I see it like you got Nepo and Cephas Creepus.
Angus.
And Angus, right? You got those 2 there, and you've obviously got a 100 test veteran as well.
Yeah.
So to me, I think without being rude, Angus is your 3rd best scrummager, because the other 2 out and out are scrummagers. Okay. Yeah. But then what Angus does bring is he brings a bit more dynamic ball play, work rate around the field. Okay. So really, what you're looking for when you go up north, you're going to play some real dominant scrummage inside. So you need a starting number 3 that can scrum. You know what I mean, and lock it down and really keep going there. So you've got those 2, and then you've got Angus on the side. So to me, it's a real playoff between Nepo, who was top class on the weekend, and a 100 test veteran. You know what I mean? So what are you going to pick? And I've got to say, what fascinated me a little bit on the weekend is how the scrum dominated so much, and that's a big part, not only to your number 3, to Nepo, but also when they got a man in the bin, they didn't even put anyone behind him, you know what I mean? So that, to me, is just like, he stood up and just said, don't worry about that, I've got this covered.
Yeah.
Normally you put their first port of call is to put someone behind your tight head. He said, I've got this covered. Aussie ball, they get a turnover. So he said he took a falcon, but his general work around the field and his scrummaging, outstanding. Gonna be hard to leave him out.
Yeah. Midfield backs and Mills, that is, I don't know, well, let's lock down who you think is definitely going.
Well, I think ARB needs to go.
Yeah.
I think he's your definite lock-in. I definitely think Crotty needs to go. You know, I think, you know, I know there's a lot of talk now whether, you know, he could be the one that misses out. The way SBW played in the weekend, you know, he's really put his hand up. And so when you look at it like that, and has had limited opportunity, is probably Laumape is probably going to be the one that's going to end up missing out. But whether you take, you know, do you leave him out and take a sort of a specialist, a centre type outside, because then you could probably possibly afford to take to leave another sort of outside out. So the way things are gearing up, and if you look at the whole week, okay, this is what the pressure that you're going to get come Rugby World Cup. The whole week was massive. They're going to get that for 7 weeks, and the guys that stood up in the weekend, you know, absorbed that pressure. And so you'd have to say, you know, that SB does warrant going over there. So, and given they put him in there as opposed to putting Laumape in there to start, it's probably an indication that you know, they're going to leave Laumape behind.
I mean, it'll be a tough call, wouldn't it? But I wonder, this is my theory, is Laumape actually competing with Sevu Reece? Is it X Factor versus X Factor, little pocket battleship versus the same sort of player? So when you've got Sevu around, he can do similar sort of damage. I mean, obviously with wing you can roam anywhere, right? You can with a set play. So once you find another explosive guy, does that mean you don't need that same sort of character?
That's what they find themselves in. The thing is, do they take 4 midfielders like they did in the last Rugby World Cup and sort of have Ben Smith as a cover?
Yeah.
Or do you say, well, we need someone that's X Factor and we keep him and we go over there and Ben Smith covers that 4th centre role? I don't know.
Millsy, I'll just touch on your Sonny Bill. Like, for me, you talk about, you know, the pressure they'll be under a World Cup. Sonny Bill's one of those guys who, what he does on the field is X, but what he does off the field can't be measured. You know what I mean? He makes other people around him feel comfortable in what he's doing, you know, and just the way he's played so many big games, it's, you know, just the way he handles himself around that and gets working with people. And I will say one thing about Laumape. I'm a massive Laumape fan. I think he's outstanding and stuff like that. But I'll go back to your point with Ardie Savea. When he plays in the Hurricanes, he understands his role, and Ardie just goes and does his role. For me, again, I say I'm a big fan, but to me, I just was a little bit disappointed that when Laumape comes on the field, what's Laumape good at? Right. Getting the ball and smashing it forward. Just got a little bit cute, you know what I mean? I would like to see him get on the field, right, I've got X amount of minutes, I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not sure what he played. Just smash over the advantage line, you know what I mean? Because that's what he's good at, you know? So I just wonder if he's 100% comfortable with what his role is there. Yeah,
interesting stuff. They were going to have to, I guess, you know, with the back three, that's a real cat amongst the pigeons thing with Bridge and Sevu Reece playing so well. If you look at the guy, I feel sorry for Ben Smith because in the games he's you know, a great fullback. He's played on the right wing. Sometimes he just didn't get the ball. You know, it would move out towards him, and I know you can go looking for it, but sometimes he just didn't get the ball. So I feel like Ben Smith is safe. He's going to go, but now Rieko Ioane playing for Auckland this weekend. Does that mean he's under pressure?
Wow, man, the way those other two guys played, this is going to be huge for him because he really needs to find some form. And you're right, you know, I think Bender goes. I think you need that experience. Yeah, okay, he hasn't played that well in the last couple of tests, but the All Blacks haven't played well in the last couple of tests. But I think you really need that experience. And so, I mean, you know, who do you take? You're really saying to yourself because, you know, you're going to end up taking 2 specialists. If you go for a 4, you're going to take 2 specialist wingers, and then a Bridge and a and a Ben Smith that can cover wing and fullback. But the other thing you got to realise too, if we don't take a third 10, that might free up another position for someone else.
Geordie.
Well, or one of those back three guys. And so, Geordie could miss out. But, this is why it's such a... the selectors have got a massive call to make because there's going to be some very, very good players that are going to miss out.
Yeah, that's true. Rico playing for Auckland this weekend though, Batesy, do you think... has he? You're in the Auckland system. You can tell us what's been... has there been any sort of message like he's got to play the whole game?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I haven't heard anything. I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't see him playing any more than the whole game. And for Rico's sake and for Auckland's sake, I hope they play under a dry track, and I hope he gets plenty of ball and he gets that touch back into him, and he just relaxes and just plays football and gets plenty of ball and runs. Because we know he's a great attacking weapon. We know he's a good footballer. But for whatever reason, the last 2 games he's played against South Africa, he dropped the ball a lot. Against Australia, he was not in the game. And I'll go back to what you said about Bender. I suppose you could also say, but in those 2 games, the All Blacks were under the pump. They were losing the game line. So, but I think when he goes back to Auckland this week, I just really hope that they get a dry track. B, they give him plenty of ball and not ball when people are right on top of him. And he just goes out and plays with a bit of freedom and gets that joy back for the game. He looks a little bit hesitant on what he's doing at the moment. Yeah, a bit of joy back. I reckon we all need that in our lives. Possibly there's a Liam Squire. There's a phone call to be made, apparently, from Steve Hansen to say, are you in? Would that be a bit rough on, say, someone like... Is he competing with Vaifafita and Jackson Himmelpool, maybe? Is that second option at number 6? I think he goes. I think if Liam Squire makes himself available, if he can get through 3, 4, 5, depending whether they'll take him in the Tonga game, they'd have to take him in the Tonga game, you imagine. But so he's got through 2. If he can get through another 2 games for Tasman and he's going well and mentally he's good, I think you've got to take him. I do. And then that, again, brings balance into the squad. You talk about Savia at 6, there's just more balance around that sort of loose forward trio. So you've got to say our best loose forwards are probably those 3 that started on the weekend. Chuck a Squire in there for a bit of balance as well. You've got the ability to mix and match your loose forwards, and I don't think in this day and age, I think you've got to adjust your starting lineup to what you're playing against. You know what I mean? And those 4, to me, give you more balance. And that would be harsher against Jackson Himmelpool, because, again, big fan. I was hoping he was going to get a few more minutes on the weekend, because I think he's a good footballer and he's played real good, tough minutes all year.
I suppose when you go that way as well, you've got to think of where the All Blacks are at in the locking department, because, and that's the hardest part, because you've still got Retallick that's under a massive injury cloud. We don't know. So it puts massive onus on, Tuipulotu to actually really stand up, because, when Barrett comes back, obviously he'll go into that with Sammy. But really, if we're waiting for Retallick, he might not be ready to the quarterfinals. Then that massive onus goes on, Patrick to really stand up, constantly like he did in the weekend. Because if you're not going to go for a Himmelpool or Fafita, who can actually cover that, let's just say he doesn't do the job, well then, you're down at lock.
That's why I think he should go back and play Mitre Cup this week.
Yeah.
And probably next week too. He's a footballer that gets better when he plays. You know what I mean? So, but hey, they're a bit smarter than me, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but Bates, you're making some really good sense today. I wonder, because Mills, you're in a terrible parking space with only 20 minutes on the meter, we might have to rattle through.
2 hours.
Yeah, no,
I only had 90 cents.
Well, you've got to get
That's the whole of my invoice.
You've actually got to get. There's an app.
Mate, that's the whole of my invoice, mate. 90 cents.
There's an app. It's an Auckland Transport parking app. Have you seen this app?
Oh no, I haven't got a credit card.
Okay, right.
Yeah. See.
Got taken off you, mate.
You're old school, mate. You're so old school. We're going to move on to the Black Ferns just quickly. 37-8 over the Wallaroos. There's a new star on the rise there, Rohe de Mont at first 5. She only made her debut last year. You don't often see a first 5 just look that accomplished in 1 year. And this is a player who, they've already been dominant, but I wonder whether, with France catching up, do we need this kind of player who nobody can read, who's so... who's got a bit of that X factor and a genuine playmaker. maybe that another World Cup is looking like a really good possibility for them.
Well, it is. I mean, the way. To be fair, the Wallaroos played pretty well as well, considering the week before.
Yeah.
But she's been around for a wee while. She's just been under. She's had heaps of injuries.
Injuries, yeah.
And big ones as well. So she's gone through a lot of adversity to get there. She's a talented player, but and she's just finding her feet in some way. She's carving up, but at the same time, she's trying to fit in there and make sure her game management as well. And that's what I've really been really impressed with in the last couple of weeks. The way now she's actually, she spotted a couple of holes in the Perth game, but at Eden Park, she all of a sudden started taking things to the line and setting up some of her outsides and her forwards, which was awesome. So yeah, it's looking pretty positive for the Black Ferns, and Kendra Coxedge making her 52nd.
Yeah,
there's no doubt she'll overtake Fialfa Masili, and I think she's 57.
Yeah,
and become the highest most kept Black Fern.
Yeah, did you catch some of the Wallaroos the Black Ferns game, Batesy? With they just seem so dominant against Australia. They just got their number.
Yeah, they do, and that to me is a little bit of a let's rephrase this. I was going to say it's a little bit of a concern, but that's great that they're dominant over them. But as you said, when we look up north, they play the French, play the English all the time. They've got more competition in their little area, and that to me at the moment is the biggest concern for the Black Ferns. So they've played Australia, good test matches, and Millsy, as you've said, the Wallaroos came back in the second one, and I thought they played pretty well. It was a lot tougher.
But the Wallaroos probably got more out of it than what the Black Ferns would have got. Yeah?
Exactly, and that's don't take this the wrong way, but that's my concern, is the competition that the Black Ferns need. So they need someone like England or France, hopefully, to come down and have a 3-game tour or something like that, you know what I mean? Because they're going really well. I agree with everything that's been said. It's looking superb. But at the end of the day, to get better, you need competition, just like the ABs have had to flick the switch, you know what I mean? From last week to this week, the Black Ferns need that. And I know they got it earlier on this year, but they need it more often. And being all the way down here, that is one disadvantage that they do have.
And you know what? Even though the New Zealand Rugby has identified talent from other sports like Portia Woodman from netball and all that sort of thing to bolster the ranks, you look at France and you can tell in a country of 66 million that they've just gone and found a triple jumper, a discus thrower, a judo player, and just shoved and said, have you thought about this sport? Because, the Olympics is once every 4 years, but we can, you can...
Well, they've had our number. France have actually beaten us the last couple of occasions.
Yeah, they're great. They're finding those athletes. Mitre 10 Cup. Exciting times. Southland got a Shield Challenge, Mills, and they lost. 41-22. There's another great, this is good for you, another great Southland fullback, Josh Morby. Who
great try he scored, didn't he?
What a great try! He's from the Waikato, of course, with the Hamilton boys. Yeah.
Don't try and claim, mate.
I'm sorry, but obviously something said is it free and 0 fees. I don't know why they go down there, but what did you make? There was Southland still struggling for a win, aren't they? Has it been a while? What's the drought?
This is that was the 23rd game. Okay. So they've got North Harbour, who come off a loss against Counties and down there on Sunday, but. You can't give Otago a start like that. They were a lot more physical. Their line-out driver was fantastic. And was it Nell that scored that try from... and so they just kind of...
Dylan Nell.
Yeah, I mean, it was too late to come back, and they scored a couple of nice tries. But, man, that sucks for Southland, right?
So you're talking about the game this week against North Harbour. If you're the rain gods, what you're looking for is you're looking for sleet, because it's the last game of the round. You're looking for sleet and all that kind of stuff, and just constant rain in Invercargill for the week.
Yeah, and 2 heaters in the commentary box because I'm up there.
All right, we're going to move to Tasman. Beat Canterbury 23-8. It wasn't actually close in the end, so there was so much to like about this performance from Tasman, partly just because of the forward dominance as well, because even Canterbury's try came from 99 metres out. Josh Mackay sprinting away. So, Batesy, what did you think of the Mako?
Oh, you can't be impressing. You talk about the forward display. So these are the number 6s they've got: Ethan Blackadder, Taufua, Squire, Frizzell.
Oh yeah.
So these are your 4 number 6s.
Yeah.
Frizzell's been pushed up into lock. Squire's on the bench. You know what I mean? Like
Quinton's Strange, he probably can play lock too, can't he? I mean, flanker too, can he?
Hold on, you push Frizzell up, you got Quinton Strange and Putty Parkinson. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
that's
team is stacked, man.
It's ridiculous. And when I looked at the team sheets, you normally look at the Canterbury team sheet like, yeah, Super Rugby. There's a few like, oh, I don't know that guy. And look at Tasman, yep. Like, yeah, they've got the players, but in saying that, they've got to perform as well. And they were just all over Canterbury, weren't they? They were very, very, very good, and another good performance 2 weeks in a row. So looking
Hard to
pretty
beat.
good.
They're going to be hard to beat, man.
Yeah.
Where's the Croczilla?
He's injured.
Is he?
Oh, right,
I
no
wondered where he
Croczilla.
was. Yeah.
I thought it was the Salon at Sterling Sports or whatever he's doing, because he's quite busy at that time, just stock take or whatever with Croczilla. There is also, I mean, I'm not sure with the Canterbury team, it always comes from that Lincoln Academy, doesn't it? Lincoln University.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying they're heavy drinkers there, but there is probably, an adjustment to make when you go to Mitre 10 Cup. Anyway, Hawke's Bay.
What?
Oh, is he heavy drinking the Mitre 10 Cup as well?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Okay.
That's why they cut the Wednesday games, wasn't it? Because so they could have a Wednesday.
Oh, so they
game.
could
Didn't you say it was when you first made the Auckland team?
Well,
Was
yeah,
it
that was just coming out of amateur, so there was, you'd always have a few after the game and the change. You don't see that anymore.
Weren't you handed beers when you're in the showers and stuff?
You were handed a beer as soon as you walked into the change rooms.
Oh,
Hey.
right.
Now they get handed a cruiser.
Cruiser.
It's terrible.
And a protein shake.
Yeah, protein shake, yeah.
Okay, Hawke's Bay, this is a game that I actually watched quite a lot of because it was 27-all, absolute thriller in Napier, and kind of interesting to see Hastings Boys High providing so much. They've had a great first 15 lately, and so their players just filtering through to the Magpies, which is what you want to see.
Yeah.
This local, and you remember that kid, and that's kind of, to me, felt like old school NPC.
It's good they've been able to keep them
Yeah,
as well. You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Like quite often those sort of players come around and the Chiefs will pinch them and they'll go play for Waikato or
Yeah.
they'll go down to Wellington or something like that. So it's real good, as you see. Like it is real good. We got Super Rugby and we love our Super Rugby, but when it comes back to Mitre 10 Cup, it is good to see those guys that are playing from where they come. It just feels a bit more feeling. I went to school with that guy. Should we go watch him play down at McLean Park? So yeah, it's good that they've been able to keep them. And it was an interesting game. I thought they were dead and gone, the Bay, but they came back and got a draw. So
My big point, Mills, is penalty advantage. So when a team gets a penalty advantage, why aren't they just throwing caution to the wind and coming up with some crazy freaking move? Because
They're going to come back for the kick, right?
Yeah, they come out for the kick. It's a given. And the All Blacks didn't do that in Argentina, and it surprised me a lot.
can I give you an analogy, Millsy? So you like your cricket. So 2020, no ball. What do you get?
Free hit.
So therefore you get advantage. What do you
Yeah,
got? That's
exactly.
my analogy.
Yeah, but the
It's
thing
always
is,
a free hit, right.
it's to the ref's discretion. How long is that advantage
Yeah,
if we say is the advantage over? Then, hey, there you go.
No, you have one chance at some sort of killer move. The ref always comes back.
Yeah,
I've
he
hardly
does.
ever seen, like for a penalty.
They obviously wanted the 2 points. Is it 2 points?
3.
2 for a draw.
Oh, 2 for a
And
draw.
bonus
Sorry,
point
yeah.
for 4 tries, yeah.
So I thought you'd forgotten how many
Well, that's
points.
3.
If you know penalties, 3 points. You know that, right? International roundup. Okay, South Africa beat Argentina, but only just. A controversial obstruction ruled out a great Pumas try. That kind of obstruction, you could give that every single time there's a counter-attack, couldn't you?
Mate, it's coached.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's coached, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So whether it's right or wrong, it's coached. So long way back, and I suppose you could debate either way, really, but I just enjoyed the try. It was a great try from
Wasn't it?
deep, so I'd say play on, but the crowd probably wouldn't agree with that. But.
Okay, we'll just anyway. Is it Sabu Nkosi scored this amazing try where he just wouldn't fall over? It was that was incredible. I've never seen anybody who looks like he's properly hit and he's down and he sort of landed like a ballerina, really ballet dancer. He was so graceful. This is a guy I didn't even know if he played against the All Blacks in Wellington. So this is how they held players back. There was 2 teams, so I'm just a bit worried about him. I guess come Japan.
Well, this is the thing. They say keep your feet, always fight to stay up, and you're going to constantly win the contact or keep going forward. This guy took it to a new level. He's an absolute worry. But you look at the South Africans and the way they're preparing and the way leading into that first game. Some of the stuff that they actually. I know it was a close game, but even to go over to Argentina and win by such a big margin, they usually struggle over there. And I know they go back to South Africa and, perhaps, they won the championship, perhaps they've sort of rested on, winning that a little bit. But I just think, between the Southern Hemisphere teams, man, there's some big threats there, right?
Right, absolutely. Wales are now the number one team in the world, Batesy, by beating England. That was a bit of a, like Mills was saying before, it's that or were you saying? I can't remember who said it. Maybe someone
said it.
Mace or Sam might have said it.
It was intelligent, I said it.
Oh, was it? Okay, so you might have said that's what games are going to be like, 13-10.
Yeah, it is. And that was. I suppose you could say, oh, well, that was a boring game, but it was intense. You know what I mean? And that's what they want. And when you look through what Wales did, they had Halfpenny come in just before the game. They had injury problems, so they really gutsed that one out. And what I do enjoy as a side issue, I just really enjoy the two coaches, how they use the media so well. I really enjoy, like Eddie Jones. So right at the end of the game says, "Oh, it was a perfect World Cup build-up for us. We had our best side out for the last 20 minutes. More or less telling them, yeah, well done Wales, you won, but that's not our best side.
Yeah,
what I mean? And Gats does the same thing. I really enjoy how It's all about the messages they're sending out. It's a game inside a game. I really enjoy how both those two are just experts at sending positive messages to not only their team but everyone. I enjoy it.
Well, Gats better than all of us, I guess, Batesy. You'd had a lot to do with him, and he's cheeky.
Yeah.
He likes to obviously the clown thing hurt him a bit, but he still came back with a bit of a laugh by putting the red nose on.
He's really measured in what he does, Gats, what I mean? Like, and obviously he's not a silly man, but he says things for a reason, you know what I mean? And the reason I've been coached by him quite a lot, and one thing I picked up from him, when he said things at the time, I was like, why would you do that? 4 weeks later, that's why he did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's really thoughtful in the way he plans out things. He's a couple of steps ahead of, maybe I'm just not that smart, but a couple of steps ahead of a lot of people, you know what I mean? So
he's a slow burn, the old Gats. All right, we're going to finish things up because Mills is going to get towed. So we can finish with your highlight of the week, Mills. What was the one thing that stood out for you from that weekend?
The highlight of the week would have to be the Severy strike.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful skills.
The football skills.
Beautiful.
Yeah, full on Ronaldo. Yeah, that was amazing.
Celebration was good too.
He went
It was subtle though too. It wasn't too over the top.
Yeah.
He slid seamlessly into the celebration, which was amazing. I feel like he had put the ball down and then he rose up like a phoenix from the flames. Anyway, Batesy, your highlight?
I'll go a little bit differently. Mine again involving the same man, but something we talked about at the start. I enjoyed how Severy Bridge and also Anton Leonard-Brown came across, bailed Corabetti into touch in the first sort of 10 minutes or something, because to me, like, they gave him a hiding in the end, but that's what started the game, started the momentum. Australia's score there, to me, the game changes a little bit. The confidence in Australia goes up, goes down in the AB. So I enjoyed their steal in the first 20 sort of minutes from the AB, that point in particular.
Yeah, my highlight, I do enjoy, actually, we'll save that for low light maybe. It's probably not fair to finish. We're going to scrap low lights because maybe I thought Casey Laulala's Falcon was impressive. That was getting smacked in the face because...
Nepo.
Oh, sorry,
We're going
Casey.
back a few years there, mate.
Casey is a centre. We did this last time, mate. Nepo, sorry, mate. Okay, all right. Nepo Laulala. Anyway.
Could we change it around and say it was a highlight because Artie went, sucker, and that was the funny part?
That was the funny part. It was actually funny, but Paddy Tuipulotu playing so well at lock, because the whole narrative, if you play lock for the All Blacks and you're replacing Brodie Retallick, you're on absolute hiding to nothing. Because if anything happens, everybody goes, oh, Brodie's not there, and they have a massive whinge about it. But it's actually quite good to see an All Blacks team fire and for Patrick to be front and centre doing so well. And side note, I see him at the supermarket sometimes with Phoenix Karaka, the netballer. They're one of my favourite sporting couples. And I used to coach Phoenix rugby league at Point Chev, and she was pretty good.
Oh, nice.
And she was used to truck it up in the early in the set. Yeah, she was definitely had no fear. So anyway, that's pretty much it. And that's going to be the podcast because I'm worried about your car, Mills. And Batesy, it's been great having you here.
Pleasure to be here.
And what's your next stop? Is the under-19s tournament in Taupō?
We're going up to Whangarei this week to play the Mitre Taniwha, and then a couple more seeding games, and then we're down to Taupō in a few weeks.
Nice.
And Mills, you're just travelling around the country. Oh, you're going to Southland?
I'm going on Sunday. I'm down there on Sunday. I'm doing the Southland North Harbour game.
Where do you go for dinner when you're in Southland, apart from home?
I have to go home.
Oh, right.
I'm in and out. Just, land, go to work, out the next day.
When's oyster season?
Still going.
Oh, right. So you'll have
There'll be
plenty of
something
that.
here next week.
No, there won't be.
You can.
Typical.
Weather, the boats won't go out. The weather's bad, real bad.
All right.
They don't have to be fresh.
Fine. Hey, well, thanks very much. Thanks for joining us on the Bill Ellis podcast. We'll see you next week.